All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 10th, that's 10, count 'em, episode of the Basement Podcast. I am your host, Thucydides, and joining me today are the wonderful Aquinas and Lewis. Here on the Basement Podcast, we're here to have some good times, hot takes, and just generally make fun of liberalism and culture from a conservative point of view. I haven't read that in a long time. It's been a minute since we did a basement, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a hiatus, but I'm excited to be back.
Yeah.
Oh,
Unintentional hiatus, mostly because we're just, busy. But now I'm
Yeah.
unemployed, so I can do whatever I want. Um, if you like what you're hearing, then you might as well subscribe to us on YouTube or Rumble, except not Rumble because I lost the login details, so it's gone. That is so pain.
Really unfortunate.
Yeah. In true basement fashion, I have a snack in the background. I think I've been eating in almost every single basement episode that we've recorded, except definitely the majority. I've had something being eaten in the background, but my mic doesn't pick it up. So that's why I get you guys to answer the questions. I can just eat.
So you can chew in between. I
I
see.
can just chew, yeah. All right. So the theme of today's video, I'm kind of hyped. It's a little sillier. I wrote this one to be kind of long, but we'll have to blitz through it because we're a little late. The theme is if you could. If
Okay.
you could.
all right.
So, question number 1. If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? Who wants to go first?
Okay. Anywhere in the world. I probably would go to New Zealand because it's just really beautiful there, and I feel like it has all the perks of being an island without all of the terrifying of being in Australia.
Exactly.
So that is kind of my logic there. I also wouldn't be opposed to a number of locations in Europe, but I might actually go to Europe soon. So soon those will be checked off.
Dang, okay.
Yeah.
Aquinas, what about you?
Nice. I think I'd probably go somewhere in Europe as well.
It's kind of funny
If
because I'm
I
not...
were to get
Oh, go ahead.
specific,
Yeah. Specific.
like
Specificity.
the France kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Fun.
thinking like looking at war, like battlefields
Oh,
and stuff.
yeah.
Is that yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah, like Vimy Verdun memorials type thing.
Oh,
Though
Vinny
that would be
so
sick.
cool. Yeah, I think I have to agree with Europe as well because I love taking photography and the architecture in Europe is just crazy. Like
That's true.
I'd love to do France, Germany. I want to see like the Berlin Wall, like what's left of it.
Yeah.
Because that's like a crazy, like it's not the same moments. Like you don't think of that as like Pearl Harbor or like D-Day or something, but it's like that was huge. That was just such an influential moment in history.
And it was so recent too, if you think about it.
Yeah, it's
one
kind of
those-
funny. It's the sort of thing. It's like people I know have lived through that, whereas
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who lived through D-Day or Pearl Harbor, even if it
Yeah.
happened during their lifespan, which is just crazy. All right, good question. If you could punch anyone in the world, who would you punch? 0 repercussions.
Oh no.
Anybody. It could be a president. It could be a certain prime minister.
Do they have to be like alive? Is that the like anyone currently alive?
Ideally, let's not get into time travel.
Okay. I don't know. I think I just don't have a very violent inclination. I mean, I get angry.
Exactly.
I'd have to think about it though. I'd have to think about what makes me angry.
There are things that I don't like, but not
That's
things
fair.
that I would consider punching as a solution or release.
I'm sure there's like a psychopath somewhere who probably deserves it, but
True.
The thing is, like, punching is not the same. It's like you could, well, unless you punch Joe Biden, that might kill him. But if like to punch someone, it's like okay, whatever, they'll be fine in like a day or maybe they get a black eye. It's like okay, whatever. So for me, I'd like to punch Justin Trudeau. As much as I'd like to punch Justin Trudeau, I kind of want to punch. What's his name? He's like one of the whiners for the Liberals in Canada.
a long list.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He speaks more often than not. But I'd
That's
like to
also a
punch one of
long
them.
list.
Yeah, he's definitely he's one of the more vocal liberals. Yeah, I'd love to punch him. I'd say like if I punch Biden, like he would just die. Not because
He
I
would.
punch hard, but because he's old. Um,
He would just kind of keel
he
over.
would, yeah, he would just fall down some stairs and that's it. Not that I'd push him down the stairs, but there would just be stairs there.
Yeah,
He's
I
he's
do.
bad with stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that, I think any Just Stop Oil protester also would work in a pinch.
True. That's true.
Fair enough.
Actually, I was thinking about this earlier today. Like, it's kind of violent. I guess in a lot of ways, the Palestinian protesters aren't doing anything wrong. But it would be really funny if the cops went in there with rubber bullets and just started beaning people.
You think that would be amusing?
I think it would be because like it would hurt, but you wouldn't kill any of them probably. But like, yeah, if they start pushing some students around, just running with the beanbag shotgun, it's like just rough them up a little. It'd be kind of fun. Beanbag is a victimless crime. Anyways, next question. Let's not get into that. If you could lunch with anyone in the world, who would you lunch?
Lunch.
Lunch.
Like have lunch.
Yeah,
Like have a meal.
essentially.
Like sit down and have a conversation type thing.
Yeah, over coffee or a sandwich or something.
Okay. Probably someone who would do most of the talking so that I could just listen. So probably Jordan Peterson. So I feel like he could talk on for like a while and it would still be interesting.
It'd be nice because you could get to eat.
That's a good choice.
And listen to Jordan Peterson, which I kind of do anyway.
Exactly.
So like
I think that'd be quite fascinating. And the insinuation that the chicken in your sandwich is in fact real chicken is absurd.
Exactly. That's what I would love to hear.
And just get him started on your meal choice. Yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
How about you, Aquinas?
Aquinas, yeah. I got another cheese and cracker to eat, so go ahead, take your time.
All right. The first person that comes to mind is like NF, just because it seems like it would be cool.
That'd be a good
Either
time.
that or there's definitely other people. I just can't think of them.
I think some fun personalities would be like Wendigoon,
Yes,
like the
that would
YouTuber.
be really good.
That'd be
Yeah.
fun.
That would be really fun.
There's just like some like you could go either influential and intelligent people or just like genuinely fun people to be around.
Yeah, exactly. How do you approach that? You want it to be
Yeah.
a fun lunch or like a learning?
An intellectual meal.
I'm thinking of lunch like basically you're meeting this person that you wouldn't normally be able to meet.
Yeah, I think for me, I'd probably go with like John Lovell. Really interesting guy, really good book that he wrote. But definitely more of an influence for men over than women. But lots of life experience and super fascinating guy. And just I'd be interested to pick his brain about like living in a way that is courageous. Because he's, I mean, if you guys don't know, John Lovell's like a former Army Ranger, runs like a gunfight training company. Really interesting dude, super Christian, really definitely. He's like 40. He just turned 40, I think, at this point in time. But he's like just years and years of life experience from his tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, and just really fascinating to read his book. And I'd love to chat with him about living in a courageous and godly manner.
Yeah, that's solid. I've never actually heard of him, but he sounds like a cool guy.
He kind of gets nerfed. Like his YouTube channel definitely gets nerfed by the algorithm a lot. Even so, they still have like 1 million subscribers, but they don't grow very fast.
What's the channel?
Warrior Poet Society.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Now I realize why he sounds familiar.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, he wrote a really interesting book called The Warrior Poet Way that I read. It actually like, I think for young men, definitely one of the best books they could possibly read because it's not abstract in thought like you would get with maybe like a 12 Rules for Life. It's easy to read, but it's still extremely applicable. And he asks like a couple questions at the end of each chapter and gives us like a little assignment, like, hey, do this, do that. And I think the one assignment in there that I think everyone should do is write a death letter. So like if whatever reason if you're killed in a car accident or whatnot, have a letter that takes care of everything, and that is to leave no strings untied, no bridges burned, right?
Mhm.
Because he's talking about people who will live their entire lives and they're on their deathbed and they're like, I wish I stayed in touch with my kids and things like that. And it's just, yeah, things like that. It's just super applicable, this book. I really love it. I think any young guy should read it. And girls too, if they want, but it is very much written for men.
Mhm. That's great.
Okay.
I love hearing about stuff like that.
Sounds
Next question.
cool.
Yeah, sure.
Next question. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Invisibility.
Invisibility. Class.
I would just enjoy that, I think.
Aquinas?
I think I would go with flying.
That's a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hang on,
It's
I'm
just
doing.
not something the average human gets to do. So
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to go a little more abstract on this one. The ability to take away anyone's driver's license at any time for any reason. The streets would be so much safer if I could do that.
If you could decide.
If I could just say, you know what? You didn't signal? Get off the road. You're done. Got to take the whole
Can
test,
you-
like road test, everything. They got to redo it all.
Can you imagine if this became like an urban legend? Like if you actually were given this ability and then there was just
To
this
just-
like rumor going around on the streets, like you gotta be careful, guys. Like there's this guy on the road and this is maybe what his vehicle looks like, but
You don't know.
We don't know. We don't know anything about him, but we just know that sometimes licenses just disappear. Like they're just erased and then it's
Yeah.
kind of like a Santa Claus, but hanging over the heads of like mostly adults.
Like Batman.
That would be amazing. Like Batman,
Yeah,
but
road
for
Batman.
drivers. Road
Yeah,
Batman.
oh, that would be so. Because like, there's be people and, like you're like, oh, this guy's 100% on his phone on this like single lane road, or just driving like 40 over the speed limit in a school zone, and you're like, okay, you know what, you're just done. Just no more driving for you.
It would be so subtle too, possibly, because like it's like you just drive up behind them
They just
and you
they just
decide
get
they're done,
pulled
and
over
then
the next
like
day.
they just get pulled
And
over,
they're like, hey,
and
you don't
they
have a
have that
license.
that sort of association. Like there was that strange car following me while I was doing something wrong, and now it's over for me. Like there would just be so many stories circulating. I think that one would be a lot of fun.
Hang on, I just had to swallow.
Oh, good.
I'm really hungry. Okay. Question number 4. Question number 5. Yep. If you could only live for one more day, what would you do?
I mean, I think what anyone would do is say goodbye, right?
See as many people as possible.
Mm-hmm.
You can't exactly go to any places either because it's just a day. What are you going to do?
Yeah, the most important thing would just be to see everyone that you can.
Yeah. Yeah, really, what can you do, right?
You don't want to waste your time trying to get somewhere or do anything in particular. I think people are the most important.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Maybe I would just just rent a bus and then just go and like pick up everyone I know, and so that they could just stay with me the whole time while I was traveling between places to see people.
And when you die at the wheel and that's
Well, I wouldn't be driving. That would be
okay.
unsafe.
That would be unsafe. I would take away your license for that.
Right? Yeah.
I would.
Yep, that person's about to die. No more license for you.
Yeah, I would just know. Like, they got 30 seconds to live. You're off the road. Oh,
Wow.
Anyways. Maybe I would just let you go because it's like, let him enjoy it. I kind of thought that question would take a little longer, but you guys poked holes.
What can you do, to be honest? You just kind of gotta say
what can you
goodbye.
do? Say goodbye. Maybe take it slightly less seriously. And what else would you do?
Like,
If
as in,
everyone-
there's
if
no
everyone
longer
had
any
already said
consequences?
goodbye. Yeah. Well, not like Groundhog Day. But like if you've already said goodbye and it's like one last thing, one last hurrah before you go, what's the plan? Like, are you
For a
just
hike?
gonna go for a hike? Okay.
Connect, like, see the forest or nature or something.
Mm-hmm.
Probably with people. But like, go find a mountain somewhere. I would die on a mountain happily.
Yeah.
I would probably die going up the mountain because I hate hiking, but it
You
would
would
be
just-
worth it.
Premature death, just heart attack, and you're like, dang,
Yeah, exactly.
Man,
that's
it
pain.
wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Usually
I would probably also go up a mountain. It would be nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what I would do. It's funny. I usually write the questions I want to answer, but I genuinely don't know what I would do. Yeah, that's tough. Probably
Life gets a lot simpler when death gets involved.
Mm-hmm. Suddenly, yeah, you don't care so much. Yeah, go for like a hike and get out there and live a good one. Breathe some fresh air. Anyways, yeah, that was kind of that got kind of deep. Next question. I got really introspective there. Number 6. If you could work any job for 1 month, what would you do? Any job.
Any job
And you got paid for it.
for a month. I mean, I could just like
1 month.
say that my job is like a vacation and then just get paid for like a month of vacation. But realistically, I think it'd be fun to do what I want to do for a career and just like test it out. So like therapy or counseling or maybe like some kind of crisis social work, something like that. For a month, I think that could be a good experience. Or like see what it's like up top. Maybe I would be a politician and see what you can do in a month.
Mm-hmm. See how many bribes you can take in a month, and then
Yeah, and then just leave.
yeah,
Yeah, something with long term like benefits would be nice. Like if you got signed into something that gave you some future assistance
for 1 month, and you got retirement for life.
Exactly.
Yeah, that could be fair. Aquinas, are you thinking about it, or should I go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I think I'd want to do SWAT team because like it's the sort of thing that some people like thrive on the pressure, and some people don't, and some people like they get into policing or firefighting or some really high stress job, and they're like, actually, you know what, I'm not built for this. And I think for a month, I would do it just so I can know about myself. Could I handle this? Like, could I door kick and enforce the law? Ideally, not really like taking bodies or anything. Stacking bodies is the saying, I think. But just work policing and high pressure, and just to know at very least about myself. Could I do it? Could I, when the situation came to it, would I react fast enough? Would I make the right judgment call, the right instinct? Like, am I wired for this? And everyone, I think every guy thinks like, oh yeah, when I see red, bodies start dropping, that sort of thing. But then there's a lot of guys who think they could, rock and roll, and it's just when the stress comes on, but they don't, and they just kind of lock up and make really dumb decisions. I want to know, do I? Like, would I? If I did SWAT for 10 years after, or did policing for 10 years after, would I enjoy it, or would I hate every waking moment of it?
Yeah. Like something good to consider. As part of the reason why I answered the way I did is because it's something I'm drawn to, and something I have. I mean, I have a little bit of experience in crisis situations like the ones I would be dealing with, but I would love to know like what the like the actual like skin and bones of it is. I guess like what it's like day to day and how much pressure it would really like put on a person. Like I'm curious.
Because you see, like the Michelle Carre, I don't know how you say her last name, videos where she's like, I tried this, I tried FBI, and someone's phoning me. 2 seconds, gang.
Really?
Somebody answer the question. Aquinas, go.
All right.
You got this.
I think I would probably go with either something that I'm looking to take a career in, right? Because testing the waters type thing, like what you two are talking about. And then either that or I used to really want to be a writer, so I'm curious to know what like a month of that kind of work would be like. I mean, it would just be writing, but like a month of doing that and getting paid wouldn't hurt.
Absolutely. That'd be cool.
Any other interesting points about working a job for a month, because I feel like we could get a clip out of this. I think there's a clip in here somewhere. I just want clout. No? Okay. Next question. This one's funny. If you could revoke one human right worldwide, what would it be?
Okay, wait. Define
Would
human
you?
right.
I guess would you? Yeah. I mean, I guess a
I'm
lot of people,
googling list of human rights.
but don't forget like the pseudo human rights, like people saying they have their right to an abortion or a right to a living wage, like that.
Okay.
That is included.
Well,
The BS rights
that's
are
sort
included
of
as well.
the right to an abortion and stuff like that is more like a misconstruement of actual human rights.
But it is still a thing that some people, like I think Amnesty International, are they saying that's human rights? No, I'm just dumb. But like everyone is equal regardless of like race and that sort of thing. Everyone is born free. Everyone has the right to be recognized before the law. Actually, I think
The
I might
problem with a lot of
repeal.
these.
I might repeal the everyone has the do I say it like that? Everyone has the right to be recognized before the law. Something
As
like that.
in,
Because
So
or like everyone has the right to a decent standard of living, including food, clothing, housing, medical care, social services. That's interesting. Article 30 on Amnesty International, they say nobody can take these rights and freedoms away from us. Might repeal that because if you're a criminal, then I think in doing crimes you waive your right. You waive your rights because you're infringing on other people's rights. Sorry, that thought did not go in my head.
saying. I
So,
get what you're saying.
so it's not necessarily that because like other people break the law, they're taking away other people's right to
I mean,
enjoy
it depends
one
on
thing
what
or
crime
another.
you're talking about.
Yeah, well, like murder. That's just let's take murder for example, or some sort of like abuse or torture, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think if you commit a crime, then you are. Yeah, I think you're. If you commit a crime, then you're waiving your rights.
To
And I
degree,
think
because we have the
this Article 30 on Amnesty International is what I'm looking at right now. I'll put that in the description of the video. Probably, I'm gonna throw it in the clips chat.
that right because we have I mean, most people are protected from like unreasonable search and seizure and being held against their will and stuff, right? But that all is lost once someone commits a crime, and then those things are permissible when people are detained, right? When they're put in prison or for whatever reason. To some degree, those human rights are removed. So to some degree, we kind of have that. It is conditional upon like correct participation in society.
Yeah.
Well, some people would disagree because some people would say that
Some
like people
people
should
say
not
that.
be detained.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
it's inhumane to detain people for committing crimes, which is a whole other conversation in itself.
Everyone, that's an interesting one. Everyone has the right to take part in government and to have equal access to public service. And in that sense, yeah. Like, I think if you have a government, but also if you don't belong in a country, like, I'm not an American. If I go to America, I don't have the right to vote, even though I'm living in America, say. Or illegal aliens in America don't have the right, don't enjoy the Bill of Rights in America. It's been like a recent hot button issue where illegal aliens are allowed to own and possess firearms in some places now, or there's legislation to make that happen. And that doesn't make any sense to me because they're not citizens. So I think not to we're sitting here picking holes in international human rights since well that's the thing with some things are just BS and yeah. Oh, interesting.
Things are like
Everyone has the right to seek justice if their rights are violated.
I
But
think the idea of human rights is that these things exist regardless of people acknowledging them, or that's what they should be. That's what the criteria for human rights should be.
mhm,
Like everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. Like obviously you can do things to try to restrict freedom of opinion and expression, but you can't change people's will. Like if they want to express something, they're going to do it. It's just trying to
mhm,
repress that natural behavior is
mhm.
is pretty much impossible, right?
Yeah.
That's part of what makes it a human right is it is natural to humans and
Mhm.
it's in the best interest of everyone that they're protected because they're natural.
Yeah.
And I think as maybe perhaps as standard of living has increased, there are more things that are considered human rights because there's
Mhm.
more
Like the
capacity
right
for
to own
every.
property definitely did not used to be universal.
Yeah, that's true. But we came to
Even
a place.
nowadays, it isn't
Yeah,
necessarily.
we came to a place in the world where it's at least feasible that people can own property in most places.
Mhm.
Like I guess there are some countries where
Hold on,
there's a lot of
almost.
poverty and it's not possible for people to own property, but
That's not to
the
say they don't have the right to.
opportunity is there. The opportunity is there, and that's
Mhm.
I think a lot of it is protecting opportunities.
Mhm. Yeah, you're right. A lot of these are protecting opportunities. Let's flip this question on its head. If you could um endow everyone with a basic human right, what would you give them? Maybe it's something that's already on here, but if you don't know, then you don't know. Whatever, say it.
I'm actually pretty happy with this list. I mean, it's definitely thorough, and there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things on here.
Hmm. There are a lot of things on here. Um, Interesting. Article 29 on this list is we have a duty to protect to other people, and we should protect their rights and freedoms.
Even more
Oh,
interesting.
But
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not seeing in here a right to defend yourself. Like
Hmm.
there's mobility rights, asylum seeking rights. Everyone has the right to privacy. Actually, I think it is a really important right. Um, I've seen this. I think it was in England, like there or Australia. People saying there's no right to be forgotten in Australia,
Hmm.
which would be very good. Everyone has the right to life. Dang, take that. But yeah.
I think important right. I'm not sure if it's on here though. Is the right to have accurate information because
Mm.
in communist countries and stuff, they give them false information or
Yeah.
slightly changed information about all these things. So then that goes on and influences other things, and it's basically false information is sort of a hallmark of that type of country
Hmm.
and also
Yeah.
exists a little
Yeah.
bit here. And basically, if we knew what was true and if people were required to tell what was true, then we could make accurate decisions on where we stand. Like, for example, with the whole Israel Palestine conflict, both sides are saying that they're in the right. But
Mm.
there could be a little bit of lies and a little bit of truth on both sides. So if there was the right that everyone had to know exactly what was true, then that would allow people to align themselves correctly without so much moral grayness.
Mm-hmm. How do you enforce that though? That's tricky.
I'm not sure.
Any
Yeah.
number of these, and in some ways, I feel like, and maybe this should be better. Maybe this would be better phrased as a question. Do you guys think that the idea, particularly the recent idea of universal human rights, like the kind of things that are determined by like United Nations and stuff like that, do you think that
Mm.
is just a substitute for like a moral code? Because in a lot of
Absolutely.
ways, these just seem to be more on like the secular side of like, oh, this is what humans are worth and this is how they should be treated. not based on anything, just based on some kind of universal agreement. That's just how it seems to me. Is it's more like a moral, a new version of a moral code. Because I mean, if everyone lived according to, say, the Ten Commandments, then a lot of these issues would be negated. Like you wouldn't need to say that because it would be obvious. Or even if you just believed in God, it would be a lot easier to treat people with basic, like, human decency because everyone would acknowledge each other as made in the image of God.
And it's interesting that you bring that up. I've been enjoying this podcast called The Surprising Rebirth and Belief in God by Justin Brierley. And it's like this documentary podcast series. And it's a lot of it's talking about like new atheism and this kind of Richard Dawkins belief that everything is just random and we locked into our moral situation and re-roll the world and you'd get a different set of moral standards. And it's interesting that you say that because in the atheist perspective, because we lucked into our morality, what's to say we can't change it, right? There's nothing like, there's nothing wrong with rape because, it could be fine in another life, and in the future or the past, there were and have been cultures, and there will be cultures that actually think it's okay. And so you're right to say that we should be basing everything off a moral standard, and I don't think there really is any better moral standard than the Bible, although, some will disagree. But yeah, it's interesting that you brought that up because I've just been thinking about that, how in a godless world, morality is it's non-existent because it's just a contract. It's just what we randomly came up with.
People will say that morality is like fluctuating or changing, but I think that goes against what morality is. Morality is supposed to be what is right and what is wrong
without constant,
without change, without fluidity. So as soon as morality starts to change, or you talk about changing morality or changing your definition of morality, then it's no longer morality. It's just an opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is what is. It has to be objective. Well said.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Society's idea of morality actually has sort of changed. It's not the same as objective morality, but slavery used to be okay, and other stuff that was questionable used to be fine. Abortion is okay, but we know that's wrong. But society still accepts that as an okay thing.
I think in general, the consensus is never a good indication of what is actually right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you understand that human nature is, let's do whatever is in our own self-interest, which is just, realism, then morality or to the general consensus will never be right because generally humans are bad. And that's not to say that all humans are bad and there's nothing good in humans. I think humans can be good if they choose to elect to follow a moral code that is greater than themselves. But man, I'm out of practice. It's been a little long. It's been a little while. But yeah, so like if people were morally more unified under a consistent morality, then maybe we wouldn't have to deal with... How do I finish this thought, man? Somebody think for me.
We wouldn't have to have long lists of human rights.
Yeah. Yeah, really, that's it.
We would just all understand the value of a human without having to depend on the consensus.
So the problem is us.
The problem has always been us.
Anyways, on that note, wow, that definitely kind of a little deep. Last question. This has been a slightly above average episode, I think. Good job, us. Go team. 0 clips,
Nice.
but that's okay. If you could be on any podcast in the world, which one would you be on, and why is it the Basement Podcast?
I think it would be the Basement Podcast.
That's right.
because it's the only one that will take me at the moment. So gotta start
For
somewhere.
now. Hey, yeah, we get big, and then the Daily Wire will be begging to have us on.
Yep, that's the goal.
That's the goal. Ben, send me an email. Jeremy, I know you're interested. Definitely. Yeah. Actually, though, like if it wasn't the basement, because we all have to have a safety choice.
That's
What would it
true.
be?
I feel like in my current state, I would be terrified to go on any podcast because I think that would mean expressing a solid opinion, and I feel like I'm not.
Right.
I'm not. I would never claim to be a wise person, or claim that I am. I somehow have answers, like all the answers, or even a lot of the answers. I think in a lot of ways, I just think out loud, and that's part of how I decide what I think. So in my present intellectual capacity, I would feel cautious at best to put myself on any platform that would communicate to a large amount of people what I think, because I think what I think would probably change. So
Dang.
I would just maybe say no podcast.
Pretty much
No
the same.
podcast. Dang. Come on, guys. Let's be bold here. We got options. I think if I could be on any podcast. Oh shoot. Well, now I just can't think of podcasts. I would probably want to be on. I think starting out with like the Morning Wire show for the Daily Wire, because that one you're just asking like questions and talking about news. That's a gateway podcast.
A gateway podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a gateway drug, but like for podcasts.
Podcasts. Yeah, exactly. And I think after that, I think I'd be fun to be on like Michael Knowles or something.
Mm-hmm.
Not that, because the thing is, the guests that Michael Knowles have on are usually really interesting, and I'm not. So I'd have to kind of like, lie.
Build your portfolio or something?
Yeah, I would inflate the details. But I could.
Just a little,
I think, yeah, a little bit
amplification.
A little bit of gassing up. Yeah, I'd be scared to go on like Jordan Peterson though, because like
He'd see right through you.
He would see directly through me. I'd be like, oh, yeah, so then this happened. Actually, it's really fascinating that you'd say that because you're obviously spewing a lot of BS and you're a moron. Get off my show, please. And then I would just run and cry.
Exactly. That's exactly how I would feel.
But, yeah, I get low-pressure podcasts for sure.
Basement is where we practice.
Exactly.
And then we go on to do great things.
Yeah. Maybe I should step it up, and then the basement will be the podcast, and then
it'll be the podcast.
People will come to us, and we'll make them run scared. We'll make Jordan Peterson cry.
I don't know if that's possible.
No, it's possible. It's possible.
It's possible.
I don't think it's possible for us.
Oh, we'll practice.
That's my goal in life.
We'll come up with our most heart-wrenching story, and then he'll compare us to lobsters or something.
Oh, I would honestly, I think if I like had to genuinely make a decision on this topic, it would be what podcast I would want to be on the set of, because there are some podcasts I would just love to observe the making of them and like listen to the conversation, because I feel like there would be a lot of value. I mean, obviously anyone can listen to a podcast because that's how podcasts work, but I think being on the podcast, the benefit of that is that you can ask questions. So maybe I should just be like a podcast interviewer on one of those shows and not the actual interviewed person. I feel like I'd be a lot more interested to hear from people than I would be to talk. So like in that situation, I would love to be on the Jordan Peterson podcast, but I'd love to ask questions to Jordan Peterson instead.
Yeah, I think if you don't have anything to add, then ask good questions.
Exactly.
That's why I ask the questions.
Right, yeah. You get the easy job.
Exactly. I write the questions I already have an answer to.
Yeah, you get to know. We don't get to know until you start the episode, and then you explain what we're doing.
Well, if one of you write the episode, then you can host it.
Okay, sure.
I'll make that happen. If you write episode 11 or 12, depending on which one we record at this point, because 11 is written. Just so you know, you got a timer. As soon as we can get Orwell in here, it's on.
Okay. I'll totally write an episode one day.
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think that has been the episode of the Basement Podcast. Good episode? Yay, nay?
I think it was good.
I
Pretty
think it was
good.
good. I kind of wasn't sure how it was going to go because I was like, ooh, I don't know. Went better than I expected, that's for sure. Pretty solid. Lewis
Meeting your
Aquinas,
expectations.
thank you for joining me. This has been fun. And I think 0 clips out of this, but that's okay because editing clips is a chore. We'll just need the algorithm to latch onto this, and then there we go.
Mhm.
I'm thinking I might start publishing these on Spotify.
Oh yeah.
But Spotify means we might not be able to get it on YouTube easily or something. I don't know. Or I heard of this one thing that you put it on this site and then they syndicate an RSS feed that we can just put anywhere, which would be huge.
Oh, that'd be so
That'd
cool.
be super sweet. Podbean, I think it is.
Oh yeah. I use Podbean.
Podbean.
Yeah.
Look at that. Free hosting. Love it. All right. Well, that is the Basement. It's been fun. Subscribe. Leave a comment. That's a nice comment that we can use for reviews. I think we've only gotten like almost entirely hate comments at this point.
I mean,
lot.
you're
And it's
making it
on-
sound like that's a lot. It hasn't been a lot.
It's been like
of hate.
4.
Yeah. So we've gotten
but
4 hate comments.
They were all on a video of you, Lewis. So I think you're the problem.
Really?
It's this
Which
one
one?
clip. This is all going to be in the episode, by the way.
Okay.
The Basement
Which
Meant
clip?
podcast. It's the Christianity or the inescapable, the Basement with Tim Roth. His brother got a shout out. Let me just go to the Basement channel. I can just log into it. The Basement, view my channel.
Well, we actually got comments on this one. What?
Yeah, we got it's the inescapable West one. Man, none of these have views, except for that one got a few.
Terrifying.
Yeah, we actually got comments. People were triggered on this one. Except this one dude. I know who it was. I can't pay attention when he keeps falling off the platform. Shut up, Professor. Christianity is not the basis of Western civilization. That would be the Enlightenment. TBH.
That'd be an
non-Western
interesting conversation to
countries.
have.
Yeah. Actually, I actually haven't seen this one. This comment. To be honest, non-Western countries / non-Christian countries have also done colonization. The Zulu Empire, the Japanese Empire, the Ottoman Empire, etc. So I don't know why the West gets the bad rap for when literally everyone else is in the exact same thing. That guy's
That's so
based.
solid, though.
That
That's
guy's
real.
based.
I like this guy. We should get him on the podcast.
We should get him on the podcast.
We should.
Yeah. TDM Rebel 9818. If you hear this or see this, I hope you're subscribed. Then you should. I'm gonna like his comments. That hopefully he watches this episode. Hit me up. Send
We
me an
have
email.
so many clips. I have not
I know.
seen.
I crushed a ton of clips. This is all in the episode. I love this.
I gotta
and they
go
all have
through
a grand
these.
total of like 400. Actually, 400 views on a lot of these is pretty good considering there is all of 26 subscribers.
Wait, we have like more subscribers. Wait, I love looking back at this because I forgot that it existed momentarily,
Oh
and
my
now
word.
it actually. It's not doing as bad as I thought. I mean, the socks for free one
That's
is
the
still our
funny.
most
I love
viewed.
how that's the most viewed one, and it's me talking about getting socks on Black Friday.
I mean, it's kind of great.
It just started playing in the podcast. Socks, and then you have like
For free?
friggin' Major and Bennington like making fun of my voice in the background. I'm like socks, and they're like socks. Off the show. Off the show. Okay, speaking of off the show, we should wrap it up. It has gone an extra like 5 minutes. 44-minute episode though, guys. Look at us go.
We're good at this.
We're professionals. That's why we took a 2-month hiatus. Because
Exactly.
we know what we're doing. Exactly. That's fine. The next episode is written. Lewis is writing the episode after that, or maybe this is the next episode. Who knows?
I guess we'll see.
I guess we'll see. It's up to you. No pressure. If you write 8 questions, then that's a good 40 minutes of content. Unless
8
they're
questions?
deep, in
Okay.
which case we can do more than that.
Oh yeah, my question's
But if you theme the questions, that's what I usually do, which is why most of the questions suck, because only one of them really works in the theme. And we end up with questions like
Do
if
it.
you could lunch anyone in the world.
I think
I had to rhyme it with punch though, so that's what I had to do.
that's
I
fair.
do what I have
I
to.
appreciate the attention to detail.
Thank
It's what makes you good at your job.
Aw, glad to know I'm good at my job.
Hmm.
It's not a job till I get paid though. Subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.
Bye.
Classical
That was
music fades in.